Hey, and welcome to my skills and perks video. This video is going to be for beginners and or anybody that is even an intermediate level into the game and doesn't really know about all these skills and perks. I'm not going to go over every single one because lots of them are pretty useless in my opinion, but lots of them have had some good value, and that's the ones I'm going to stick with and go through. With that being said, let me scrub this ugly face out of the way. And let's first talk about how do we get skill points and perk points. And you get them by leveling up. You should end up with 22 skill points and 22 perk points by the time you hit level 60. So let's jump into the skills first. So skills will be up here in the top corner. And the first thing we'll also notice is it costs an absolute fortune to reset these, which is why it is very important to get this right on the first time, like I have not. They start at tier 0 and end at tier 4. So there's 5 tiers. And I think that's a pretty simple topic because when we're counting to 10, you start at 0 and leave in the comments if you think I'm wrong. You count from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. You don't start at 1. The first thing I recommend is 3 points in this locate tracks. Level 1, you'll get the directional tracking cone becomes more accurate and narrower. And that will happen both on screen when you're looking at the tracks and on your mobile phone. If you pull that out and you're following the tracks as well, that little cone becomes narrower. Level 2 increases the distance which the tracks are highlighted, so they come a little bit more tighter to be able to see the tracks more often. And at level 3, that directional tracking cone becomes extremely small, almost pinpointing exactly where the next track is. And you can detect those tracks at a further distance, so they'll become highlighted to you. From the locate tracks, I would then also get 3 points in track knowledge. So level 1 will reveal information about the animal's gender when investigating the footprints. So this is really helpful with bears. You will see the pink little circle here in the bottom right hand next to the logo. Being pink, that is stating it's a female bear. Level 2 reveals the approximate group size when investigating the need zone tracks and animal response to health when investigating the blood trails. And then level 3 reveals information about the animal's approximate weight when investigating the footprints and fur types. And level 3 also will go alongside with the investigate disturbed vegetation, which will be this level 4 guy right here, which I do not have. And what it'll also give you with disturbed vegetation is it'll actually reveals the animal's fur type when you do see these disturbed vegetation pieces in the small bushes. That is a really good perk if you do lots of wandering around and you do lots of following tracks. It is something I highly recommend that you would probably want to get. It is definitely not a bad skill under Stalker, it's just super expensive to get it. The next thing in Stalker we should be talking about is the connect the dots, and this thing is really handy, so when you pull out your phone it actually draws a line between the tracks you've been doing. And what it'll also do is you can investigate multiple tracks, so if you have multiple animals shot and they're running kind of in a similar direction, you can zigzag between them and pick them up. You can actually locate both animals at the same time, and it will show you on your little mobile phone as you're tracking those animals which one it is. So those are my Stalker items. The next we'll go over is Ambusher. So in Ambusher, the first thing you're going to want to get into is the spotting knowledge, and level 1 will reveal the information about how aware the animal is of nearby threats. This will be that calm or alert meter when you're spotting animals. Level 2 will be this health indicator at the top, and then level 3 will be kind of at the bottom right here, will be the trophy rating of the animal and the weight. The next thing you're going to want in the skill Ambusher will be sight spotting. So this unlocks the ability to spot the animals while you're looking through your rifle scope. And then over in the tier 3 section, you're going to want under tag at least level 1. So this will increase the duration of the outline of the animal after you have spotted it. Level 2 is really up for debate if this would be something you would want. It is awesome to be able to spot up to 3 animals simultaneously. The only problem with it is once you do spot those 3 animals, you can't go and respot them and pull up that information bracket as quickly. So sometimes you have to sit around and wait until your spotting outline has disappeared to respot that animal. The other thing I would recommend you did is, if you had this level 2 on tag, would be spot clearly what is the smallest animal first, and slowly work your way up in your spotting and spot what you feel is the biggest animal last, so that way your spotting knowledge will be up on the screen for a longer period of time. And the last thing, an ambusher that I do highly recommend everyone probably will want, will be the pack mule skill. Now, this thing allows you to, it increases your carrying capacity by 15%. So it gives you, instead of 20 carrying capacity, you'll now have 23. Yes, we all understand you can have backpacks, but if we jump into the backpacks, there are quite a few options instead of the pack mule skill. You can get these Exo Adventurer day packs. They do not have a weight limit, but they do increase your carrying capacity by 6, but they also increase your noise by 5 and your visibility by 3. The Summit Explorer pack, this one will increase your carrying capacity by 9, but it also increases your noise by 7 and increases your visibility by 5. And then you have the Mini Day pack, which is essentially the pack mule skill, but it'll increase your noise by 3 and your visibility by 1. And the biggest downfall with these is increasing your noise is almost catastrophic in this game. If they hear you, they'll hear you from so far away, you'll never even have a chance to see them. So I really recommend using pack mule over the backpack options. It is just a significantly really awesome skill to have, and I'm putting it in one of my most #1 things to get under skills. So with the skills out of the way, I guess we can jump into perks. And perks has 4 categories. It's got your rifles, handguns, shotguns, and archery. And I mainly have most of my stuff under the handguns, rifles, and shotguns. So under rifles, I put 9 of my perk points is spent under rifles. First one I have 2 on muscle memory, which unlocks the ability to ready your next shot without leaving the aim mode. If you're doing any sort of grind, you're 100% going to need that. And 2, it increases the speed after firing for all weapons. So if you're ever shooting and you notice you shot once and the other animal standing almost directly behind it, and you go to shoot the next one and it feels like, well, I hit the button but it didn't shoot, that is where you're going to want level 2 in muscle memory. Next, under rifles, you're going to want breath control, and I would put all 3 points under breath control. So level 1 decreases the heart penalty from the exhaling and reduces the cooldown until your next breath can be held again. Not so much as a needed option for level 1, but you definitely are going to want it more towards getting level 2 and 3. So level 2 is increasing duration before you need to exhale when holding your breath, and then level 3 is increase the aim wobble when holding your breath. And that's the most #1 thing you're going to want out of it, is to minimize that wobble when you're trying to shoot an animal. Then I'll jump down to steady hands, and this also decreases the wobble when using aim mode. And it gets to the point with steady hands and with breath control that you're almost picture perfect on where you're shooting. If you're missing, it's not because it was swaying on you at all. And then under rifle perks, the most important thing will be zeroing. So at level 1, it unlocks the short range zero, which is your 50, 75, 100 zeroing for your smaller guns, and level 2 unlocks your long range zeroing, which is your 100, 150, and 300 yard zeroings. This is a must-have, having zeroing on your rifles. Next will be handguns. And in handguns, what we're going to be trying to get to is all the way over at the end will be your lightning hands. But first you'll end up getting 1 in sprint and load, which makes it so you can, while you're running, you can reload your weapons. Next I went up to quick feet, mainly because you're going to need to jump through the hoops to get to the end result. Next you'll get to ranger, but this increases your accuracy while gauging the spotted animals. It does help with your zeroing, so it's just handy that it's right there anyway. And next, what we really needed out of the handguns perk is the lightning hands. And you're going to want 3 points in lightning hands. It makes you reload your weapons so much faster, it's not even funny. And I'm even going to put on screen right now is the comparison on a 300 canning of reloading without lightning hands and reloading with lightning hands. Yeah, like that's just ridiculous time frame bracket. But next we'll move into shotguns. So in shotguns, again, you need to start at the left to work your way to the right. So here, I have both eyes open. Next I went down to body control, which aligns your sights faster after rotating with a weapon. So if you're doing a grind or you're shooting multiple different classes of animals, it's nice to be able to shoot your 22 variant and then pull out your 308 to shoot the other animals. That's where body control comes in really handy. But what we're really wanting to get to in shotguns is this recoil management. So it gives you way less recoil when firing any weapon. So when you're sitting there watching anyone do their grinds and they're shooting and it's almost like they're instantly locked onto the next animal, it's because they got this recoil management. And then the only thing left under your perks is your archery. And I really have nothing in archery. I have one in full draw. And kind of like I said earlier, archery is one of those things where you might want the like a pro, where it makes it so you can bow while in that prone position. Most of your maps, while you're in prone, you're in grass, and it's almost so hard to see it that I just see no point in most of this archery stuff. The other thing would be pumping iron, where you could shoot farther with that bow. Could be quite handy if you're doing lots and lots of bow hunting. But for me personally, and I think for most people out there, they're not doing a lot of bow hunting. They're doing grinds for their great ones, and no one's grinding with a bow. So yeah, I got about nothing in archery. But that concludes most of my skills and perks. I would love to hear in the comments what your guys' feel is on the skills and perks and what you guys feel is important. Tell me maybe I'm ridiculous and I should be putting stuff in archery. But please, if this video did help you out, even in the slightest bit, please like, subscribe. I'd love to hear from everybody. So yes, leave comments. Tell me what your favorite perks are or why. I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy hunting.